This is Chelsea Wingo.
And I'm Amy Covell.
And this is our podcast, #LifeGoals.
This is our first episode of season 2. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Each week we examine one of our life goals and figure out what steps we need to take to make them a reality.
Oh, yes.
Our pup Olive is here with us.
Podcast pup.
Podcast pup
Olive. So come join us. It's going to be fun. Hello, everyone. I'm Chelsea Wingo.
And I'm Amy Covell.
And this is our podcast,
#LifeGoals.
And it is 2020. Oh my God.
Welcome to season 2 of #LifeGoals.
Oh my gosh, this is very, very exciting. Putting my best foot forward, even though my mind's been elsewhere for the last couple of hours.
In the vein of that, this
Yes.
is #2020 hopes and 2019 growth.
Yes, we will be discussing about our previous goals, what we had in mind, what we're looking forward to for this year, and then possibly, but most likely, we'll be talking about the 3 things we are
Most proud of from
Most
this
proud
last
of.
year?
Yes,
Our
sorry.
biggest growth moments?
Yes.
How was your holidays?
It was all right, but there was I guess I'll just say it. There was a death in the family
Oh, that's right.
that happened literally days before Christmas. So that really kind of shook everybody up.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun. It put a little damper on the holidays and had some highs and lows, but I think what was really important is that we really focused on being there for each other and being a family rather than like the gifts and stuff. So I think that was kind of turning point in a sense, because it
gave a different meaning and feel to the holidays.
Yeah.
That appreciation of your family and the time that we have.
Exactly. Yeah, it really did. So that was something that happened over the holidays, unfortunately, but we're doing okay. We're good. We're we're pushing through. And literally New Year's I really didn't do anything. I just stayed at home.
Oh, I was home at New Year's too.
Yeah.
I didn't even get out of my pajamas on New Year's Eve.
Literally what I did is I hung out with my brother, hey chap, how you doing, and his roommate/friend at the apartment. As they pre-gamed a little bit before they went out to Koreatown to spend their New Year's. I think they went to some karaoke bars, but if they did...
Well,
they
it is
did not.
Koreatown.
It is, but if they did, they didn't tell me or they were too drunk to remember. So I'm waiting to hear those stories. I
was supposed to go out with my cousin to go see one of my second cousin's band play, but... I was just not feeling great on New Year's Eve. So I stayed in and played board games with mom and dad and watched movies.
Cute.
And then I went and saw my cousin Harry play a few days later.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you had somebody around for New Year's. I was just at the apartment by myself. But that's kind of like how it is.
I didn't get out to vacation, so I didn't wrap my film until midnight on the 22nd. So I got home on the 23rd.
Oof.
So I was there right before Christmas. I missed the family Christmas party by 2 days.
Yeah.
So I stayed a little longer through like the first week of January. And then as we mentioned previously, I was home for a day and then went into production.
Like right as soon as you
Right
got it,
away.
like that.
And within that first day of production, I also booked 2 or 3 more projects, 2 features and a short. So I'm actually already booked out through April 1st.
Goodness. Good for you.
Yeah, I have a little bit of a break coming up this week. So I'm going to be doing a lot of tax preparation this week. But yeah, it's great. So I have high hopes for 2020.
Yeah, no,
based on that start.
That's good. Yeah, no, I would like to feel like I'm on the same boat too, because even though some stuff has been happening, there's actually a lot of things that are in play, I will say, as of right now. Basically, I have a bunch of interviews, a bunch of meetups for potential projects and things, and that will be all solidified by February, like the beginning of it. And that should start progressing forward into kind of a higher hope and growth, if you will, regarding career-wise. So I'm looking forward to that. So I am in a little bit of like a break right now. So I'm trying to integrate my writing back in, to get back more into writing my scripts, because that's been off for a while. So, and I've been successful for doing that, except for the last couple of days because some personal stuff got in the way, but I'm getting back into it, and I feel like I'm finding a rhythm, and
it's January. Everyone's just trying to get back in the groove, right?
Yeah, exactly. I actually, just this side note, I got a journal that's a 30-day commit journal where you basically jot down things that you do in 30 days. That's a goal. So recently I've been doing this thing of where I try to drink 64 fluid ounces of water every day to change my diet. So
a lot of people I've noticed have had to make that a goal, which is so funny because it doesn't even occur to me because I definitely drink that 64 ounces
you
a day.
already do it. Yeah. Constantly.
I already do it. And so, but for a lot of people, drinking water is really hard.
Yeah, no, it is. It was definitely a big shift, and now I'm so grateful that I'm more thirsty because I'm not as hungry as much anymore, though I have been noticing that I do get a little bit more tired kind of easily throughout. So that will be the next step.
It's about
in
the quality of the food that you are eating.
Exactly, which is very important. And then also maybe focus more on like the fats and stuff on my body to hopefully use that as energy rather than just everything that I eat all the time. So we're gonna figure it out. I'm playing around a couple stuff here and there. The next month is where I'll be focusing on basically training my body back into kind of was back in August for aerial, because that was when I had my last showcase and my body was better than it was for a very long time. So I'm trying to get that back up there. But yeah, okay. So those are very specific. So why don't we get into the vagues, if you will, of what our last year was, what this current year is going to be, and then our personal achievements that we think deserve the top spots.
I think it's all pretty specific, but yeah, let's dive into the meat of the episode.
Don't go to like the nitty gritty, like sign the contract, like terms of agreement details.
All right. So as everyone knows, we have 5 core categories of goals that we try to focus our goals around and relate them all to. So let's start with our first category, career.
Yes.
What was your goal last year in career, and how did it change, and where did it end for you?
So for career, my goal for 2019 was to become financially independent. That was obviously a stretch because I did not achieve that goal. But the positive in trying to reach it was that I was able to make editing my most stable way of income. It's because that was where I got the most amount of money, and that's where I got the most amount of, payment. So I could call myself a freelance video editor, which is great. I obviously am still very much, I don't want to say a beginner, but I'm still new to the game in a sense where I'm still building up clients. I'm building up projects. Like literally. That
consistency is still what's building.
Exactly. Because one thing I do plan on doing in the next few weeks is to update my editing reel. But the thing is, because I've done so much of variety, I've done narrative, I've done educational, I've done social media, I've done YouTube. So I'm going to update my editing reel with those different sections, and then update also my website of like the best ones that I've worked on. So people know I'm not just strictly one, I'm a whole bunch. I'm eclectic.
I look forward to seeing that because I have not actually gotten to see all of the new content that you've been editing for people.
Yeah, because then also the other thing is that there's one of the short films that I worked on last year. It's in film festival submissions right now. So I have to wait for that to fully be out and open before I can actually post it publicly on my website. But I do have it, and I do plan on putting it in my reel because the director said that I could. I just haven't been able to post it on the website yet. Yes. Oh, and then, sorry, side note, because I'm thinking about film festivals. So a short that Amy and I worked on last year, it got accepted into its first film festival. Woohoo! Yay! Which is very, very exciting.
Faith will be screening at Indie Fest here in Los Angeles the beginning of February.
Yes, it's going through a certain rounds regarding certain awards and nominations, but it made it into an Indie Fest Select, so that's really, really good.
Yep, so we've got the laurels. We're just waiting to see if it takes any other awards, and when the screenings will be, we will post to our social media and tell you all about it.
As well as maybe other film festivals that might be submitted in. Ooh. If that happens. Okay, anyway. So that was 2019. 2020 is where I want to build up more consistency with freelance editing, which is what you mentioned, which I think is what will be more important for me, because that will lead towards the long-term goal for editing in particular to become financially independent.
Right.
So I want to make that step of being more consistent, getting more clients, getting more stuff to do, which seems like it's happening already, but still have a little bit more bit by bit by bit. So then eventually I could reach that long-term goal, though it probably, if it works out, maybe it'll be like in a couple of years, but I'm hoping it'll be sooner, but
I think
see.
It'll be sooner, because you already have one regular client who's been really consistent in providing work. So you just need like one or two more that can be kind of your bread and butter.
Exactly. And because it just depends on the season, it depends on what they need and what they're looking for. So yeah, that's the overall goal as of right now. What about you, Amy?
Well, in 2019, my goal at the beginning of the year was to work another 100 days toward my DGA days, towards my union days. And then when we did our update, I changed it to 40 days. So that way I would be ready to apply to third area DGA. So that is being able to work in the union anywhere but Los Angeles and New York. So I ended the year with 67 days.
Woohoo! Nice.
So nice in between both of those goals. I'm starting to build my official union book to submit, and my goal is to submit it to them by March. You know, it might take like a month for them to turn it around, but hopefully then that means that by June, I will be third area eligible and able to take union jobs that are not in Los Angeles or New York. And through that, then I can gain enough days to move up to working in the DGA in Los Angeles.
Nice.
So this year, I have two goals. One is to get into third area. And the second goal is to obtain 3 new bookkeeping clients. This past year, I got rid of a lot of my side hustles right near the end of the year.
Yes, you did.
So I'm not really working with the band management anymore. I mean, here and there. You know, they never fully let me go. I'm not nannying anymore. I quit my nanny job in November. But again, when I'm free, I always offer to help. They're now truly side hustles.
Side like that.
I am now filming so consistently that filming is my number one job. And what I'm trying to build up is just the only side hustle I'm really trying to keep is the accounting and bookkeeping and tax preparation. So I am in tax season, and I've already got some new clients for tax season. My goal is to get 3 more bookkeeping clients, because then I would have 5 bookkeeping clients that then I can get income from every month.
Yep.
At least a set amount to kind of help supplement.
Nice.
So that's my goal for 2020 under career.
Woohoo! Fabulous. All right, which category do you want to jump into next?
Let's go into relationships.
Oh.
So I'll start.
Yes, you start.
Last year, my goal was to go out and meet more people. And then when we did our first update, I said, well, it's still that. I want to say yes to more events so I meet more people. And then near the end of the year, I started talking a little bit more about my relationship that I am in. And so I needed to determine the future status of this relationship.
Yeah.
That is really not within my control. I know where I am. I can't make them be where I want to be.
Yeah.
But I'm also not ready to step away from that relationship because I see lots of growth in it. So I did go out and meet more people. I did say yes to more events. And my guy and I have been increasing our communication around what we need out of our relationship. And there has been a lot of growth.
That's awesome.
But the full-on future of that relationship is not entirely in my hands.
Yeah.
You know, it takes 2 to tango. So I can want all these things. So I will say I have a 2020 hope, but it cannot be my goal because it is not in my control.
Yeah.
My 2020 hope is that he puts a ring on it. But what I can goal myself at, things that are measurable, is I can commit to balancing my time with my partner. So that was one thing that we are working on is like when I am out shooting for 16 hours a day, how do I balance that communication and quality time with my partner? So that is what I'm committing to. And the other thing I'm going to commit to is keeping myself open to the possibilities. Whether that is the possibilities in the relationship I'm in or the possibilities that it's not the right relationship for me. So we shall see.
Yep.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm super vague about this particular situation.
But you respect your privacy, as we all should.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mostly to respect his privacy, because he's very private and I so am not.
Yes. I mean, like, my family is it's somewhat private. There's some things that, like, you know, there's great. Not that I'm like from like a Mormon family or everything. My family's great. I just, you know, there's
your family is also very private.
It's
and
very
privacy
private,
is something that I kind of struggle with because I don't understand. Mm-hmm. Like when he finds out that, you know, people I work with know about him, it weirds him out. And I'm like, to me, it's weird not to talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
Because those are all parts of my life.
Yeah. And also, I think what's also interesting is being in like the entertainment industry, or an industry where you have to show your face, show your lifestyle and things like that. You kind of do need to bring up these certain points because even the podcast that we're doing right now, it is a form of entertainment for people, so that to listen to stories and everything like that, like the YouTubers and stuff like that, it's appealing to a lot of people, so they want to know more because they're interested in your life.
Right. And they don't listen to the podcast just for the content that we say. They're interested in us as people and what we bring to the show.
And our dynamic. I mean, we banter. It gets interesting, guys. But there are some lines, unfortunately, that we have to draw because we can't just consider just ours, because that would be selfish.
We have to think about other people's privacy.
Exactly. So, so if there are things that we're vague about and that stuff, then please respect that. But we know you already do, so appreciate that. All right. So I guess it's my turn then, which I... the relationship, this has been I don't want to, interesting is not the right word for it. What would I say this as?
It's been a journey for you this year.
Yeah, I'd say, because
your relationship journey turned into a journey of self-love.
Yes, that's exactly how I was going to direct this towards, because because my goal in 2019 was I had said to lower my distrust towards men in regards.
I think you did lower dating. Some of those.
I did a little bit, but I think what it was that was more holding me back, that I recently discovered really the past few months, as a lot of even day-to-day stuff, I get very scared very easily, even if I don't show it.
She's skittish.
Yeah, I can be. Don't know if that's an insult anyway.
It's not an insult. It's just a fact. Some cats are skittish. You're skittish.
I'm not a cat. I'm a wolf.
Well, then you need to drop that skittishness at the door. Pull out that inner wolf.
Ow! Okay,
wolf pack.
Oh,
that is a reference to Fuller House, if anybody got that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. So yes, the relationship goal for me was to lower distrust towards men, which I think happened, but because of stuff that I went through regarding crushes, rejection, also rejecting other people and things like that, it turned more into, as you were talking about, self-love. I mean, I made a whole video of me trying to write one thing I like about myself for 30 days, and I ended up going to 90 days, even if I didn't film everything. And I don't write everything now, but I think with me, it's more of working on myself, and then also with dealing with the fears and anxieties that I have, not just in relationships, but in other things. But for relationships specifically, to not wait till the last minute to say what I'm feeling and just figure it out right then and there. Because that way you know where you stand, and then you can easily progress forward without going through a heartbreak, which I definitely did.
So is that kind of your goal this year, is to kind of figure out those feelings and voice them?
Yeah, honestly, I know I've said this a lot, but honestly, as of right now, I really have no interest in dating. It is not a top priority for me. I really need to focus on me and my work. I, like you, would be open to the possibility, but it's just not a top priority for me. And I think what would be more important for me relationship-wise is to be open to the possibility, and then, as you did mention, you know, if I'm feeling something, say it, figure out if it is. If not, then it's not the end of the world. It's fine. I apologize. I'm chilly for some reason right now, which is why I sound like a little as I'm trying to talk right now. So if you see any of that,
I have a feeling part of that is the topic.
It is also the topic too, but literally the last 10 minutes as we've been talking, I've been starting to be like shriveled up into a corner and just like,
this is Los Angeles. It's not cold.
it's thinned out my blood. It's thinned out my blood. Don't roll your eyes at me, Amy. I am cold. But yes, it is a mixture of both. Okay.
What was your goal in 2019 around family?
Well, obviously, you and I have different stances regarding that because I have no intention for kids anytime soon.
Right.
My goal was to try to see my family more, but that unfortunately didn't work out as well because with working as a freelancer and also in the entertainment industry, some things will just come up like that. Timing becomes difficult. And then also with
work-life balance is always going to be a struggle, and it's a learning process.
Yeah, so that's something I'm trying to figure out. So, geez, I don't know why I'm like being so pensive and quiet about this, or like.
Well, do you know what your goal is this year? Because I know you wanted to spend more time with family last year, and you didn't fully achieve that.
No, and now I just feel guilty and sad about it. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry, my family. I'm sorry. Oh God, I'm getting emotional.
You're not a hermit. You did see your family plenty. You just wanted to be a little better about it.
Yeah, and unfortunately that was not the case. So, God, I did not expect to cry.
Oh, it's we've come full circle, Chelsea. We've come full circle.
But I'm not. Shut up.
Back to the days where we had a box of tissues next to you every episode.
I will say, I think I've gotten better in terms of my emotions like the last few weeks after what happened the last few months. I think I've definitely gotten better. I think it's just a lot of stress and things like that. But yeah, so I think for me, it would just to at least interact with family more, whether it be like calls or texts and that kind of thing. Because I think another thing that's maybe more relatable for me is that it's not only just my family, but it's also my friends. Because
Right.
I would describe myself as an outgoing introvert. I do like my personal me time, but there are some times where I will get very lonely and I get very like skittish and anxious, be like, what's going on, whatever. Like I found out last minute that my brother and Wyatt were going to be out of the house. So I was like, oh, I'll have some like people come over like last minute. That didn't really happen as much, but I did have one friend come over, and it ended up being really fun because she had never seen any of the Harry Potter movies.
Oh my God. So you guys binge watched?
So we saw the first Harry Potter movie together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that turned into a really like sweet, like special like event. So it just also kind of reflected of how important it is that friends could also be family to you as well.
Agreed.
I do have my family, but I also have a lot of friends that I do consider as family as well. And so I should not be so scared or feel like I'm going to burden them by asking them, hey, do you want to hang out? Or hey, do you want to do this and do that? So basically be more proactive in just asking people I care about to hang out.
Right.
And to have more moments with them.
Because a lot of times people will just assume that you're too busy.
Exactly. Assumption is such a big thing. And let me tell you, never assume it makes an ass out of you and me.
Oh my God, I hate that saying. My ex-fiance used to say it all the time. I never want to hear it ever again.
All right. So just it makes you look like an ass if you assume.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Well, something like that. Yeah. But so I think for me, family would be branching that also to my friends and just kind of including everybody that I care about and hang out with them when I can. And so that way I don't feel alone. I don't feel scared.
So in 2019, my goals for family were to improve my credit score and to start paying down some of my credit cards in the preparation for hopefully being able to buy a house and start a family. I did improve my credit score. I had paid down 2 of my cards and then they went right back up again due to life getting in the way. And I started researching homes on Zillow to start to figure out the market and what I want. At the end of the year, I also started 2 investment accounts. So I now own stock and I have a savings account that is being invested.
Nice.
So in that note, I am trying, that is my goal this year, is to continue with my investment and savings plan. And I want to weigh purchases I make against my future goals. So there's lots of things I want. Lots of things in a lot of ways I need, but I need to weigh these purchases against my goals. And would I do better buying said thing or spending said money, or would I be better putting it in one of my investment accounts? Because savings has always been kind of a hard thing for me. So I want to really increase my savings game this year. And I want to set small, obtainable financial goals for myself. So I need a car. We know that.
Yep.
That's kind of a big, lofty goal for me. But there are some other things that I need. Like I want a new portable onset printer. I got a $50 Amazon gift card for Christmas. And even though I need dog food, I need some office supplies, like I'm trying my hardest not to spend that gift card so I can instead put it towards that purchase of a portable printer. Mm-hmm. So like that's what I mean by like some small financial savings goals. So that's where I'm at for family. Mm-hmm. So I'm just really working on being able to be in the position to save and buy a house and have kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God. All right. We're already more than halfway through with our goals.
Oh, goodness gracious. Let's see if I can cry more. Yay.
I don't think you're going to cry during the next one.
We'll see.
Health and wellness. Now, I did not do good in this.
Don't laugh at me. I'm being laughed at.
She's already assuming that she's going to cry, and that's why he laughed. I did not do well under health and wellness last year.
Okay, good.
My goal was to have, to stick to a fitness plan in the sense of a workout routine and to lose 10 pounds and to increase my flexibility. Mm-hmm. When we recapped, I decided that the workout routine was not working. So I was like, let's try to have one very active thing once a week. That didn't happen. And I also had committed to going to an aerial class before the end of the year. That didn't happen.
Yes, I'm still on that for you.
And I made the goal to I made my 10-pound goal, and my goal was to then keep off the weight through the new year. Mm-hmm. So I, for the most part, kept off the weight. I think I gained 2 or 3 pounds on vacation, and I'm down to like only 1 pound over where I was. So I count that as a win. Mm-hmm. This year, I don't know what I'm going to do because it's really, for me, health and wellness has nothing to do with eating because I eat so well already.
Yeah.
So it really is more about integrating activity. Now, I'm an active person in my daily life.
Yes,
and I think that's why there's not this huge push for me to have a workout routine because I'm so active.
Yeah.
But I need to integrate some sort of extra physical activity. So I'm going to go for one extra physical activity a month, like going hiking or trying aerial. And then I'm going to goal myself to quit vaping by the end of the year.
Okay.
So I quit cigarettes a little less than 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was around
a little less than 2 years ago and have just been on vape. And so now my goal is this year to try to get off of the vape. That's where I am for health and wellness.
Right,
I know they're not super lofty goals, but this is not a category that's close to my heart. So, Chelsea, what did you decide last year?
Well, I have to say in particular, the last year was kind of a big shift in terms of health and wellness because it was really when I found activities that I really, really love to do. I had done boxing for the last few months and I had been doing aerial, but then I started doing aerial dance and then I started doing more aerial dance. So a lot of like the strength and endurance and all that stuff, I got it, and it was super fun to be able to have all that and be able to do a lot of things I didn't think I was capable of. I mean, it even showed in the August performance that I did, which was awesome. But then unfortunately, because of finances and stuff, I didn't have aerial for a very long time. And now I'm just recently getting back into it. And I'm not exactly back to square one, but I am not where I was. So that's hugely disappointing. But my main goal was to find a way to cut cravings so that when I'm super hungry, I don't just go for something immediate, because that is my issue, because my lifestyle and being a freelancer.
You want to try to make better food decisions.
I want to make better food decisions, and I have definitely not been the best at this. I will admit that. I am trying to work on that. But then here is also the other thing. Because I work from home, especially in my own room, I get cabin fever very, very easily. And if I don't get out of that house, man, I get panic attacks, I get anxiety, I go crazy. So I have to get out of the house in one way, shape, or form. And normally when I get out of the house, I associate that with getting food. But by that time, I'm hungry.
Right.
So that's why, like, especially as I mentioned earlier, I've been trying to do the water challenge. So that way I don't feel as hungry throughout the day. And I'm hoping that with some switches I'm making, such as instead of writing at my computer, actually going to the library to do some writing, so that way I'm out of the house. So that way when I get back, I'm more inclined to cook rather than to do something quick and simple. Because that's always been my issue, is that since I work from home, I have to get out of the house.
And so when you get out of the house, that's when you stop and get food.
Yeah. Exactly. So because getting out of the house is my like mental clarity and kind of like my break from everything. So if I'm not out, then I go crazy and I make like quick impulsive decisions. And then also with work, again, it's that balance between work and healthy and all that stuff. So my goal for this year would be to switch it up so that way not every time I go to the house out of the house is for food. So like incorporate with
you don't
writing.
Associate it with that anymore.
Exactly. So with the writing at the library, do that, and kind of like maybe also when I go outside, do walking around. I've been doing that a lot more recently.
Well, that's good.
So do stuff like that, so that way when I'm home and I have those meals to cook, I can just cook them and I'm not drowning in my hunger.
Right. You're not like, I'm so hungry, I just need food now.
Exactly, because also with the water, I'm not as hungry anymore, but because of that, it's not focusing on the other nutrients that I have. Right. So that is pushing me actually towards to making some more healthier decisions. So like I've been cutting back a little bit on my carbs. Like I don't like eat with the bun or anything because I feel like bloated. I feel sick. I'm going to be starting maybe trying to have maybe some like nuts or something before I work out, so that way I have a little bit more energy. Mm-hmm. So that way when I come back, I don't consume as much in terms of breakfast time, even though breakfast has been said that's when you can have your carbs because you burn them.
Spinach. That's what I will say. You and I were talking about energy.
Yeah.
Spinach is great for energy. It's it's a healthy green leafy vegetable.
Yeah.
It also has a lot of iron, has a lot of a lot of the nutrients that your body craves.
Yeah.
And so I would definitely recommend like incorporating more spinach into your diet.
Mm-hmm. I do love spinach. Yeah. It's just obviously with the timing and everything, I was like, oh, I can only do it for like lunch and dinner. And that by the time I'm like, I'm hungry and go up, blah, 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 blah.
But spinach is so easy because if you're eating it raw, you're just throwing it onto whatever you're eating. And if you're cooking it, it takes literally less than 3 minutes to saute.
Yeah. Just trying
I made spinach for Rex this morning. Told you I was out of dog food. So he had spinach and eggs today.
Well, that's quite yummy. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. So it's just going to be incorporating a lot of things that I would associate maybe for like this time frame into this time frame. And then when I get out of the house, do something different so that I don't associate it with food. And then also stick with the water thing that I've been doing because I actually really do love it. And I love that I'm not as hungry as I normally am and that I don't go for, the shitty stuff as much. That's all a lot. So we're just going to be doing it like by month. Obviously doing the water thing for a whole month. And so probably the next month we'll be providing the things for my body so I get back that endurance and strength that I really want. Because I have a showcase that will be in like the next few months and I want to be able to do a high hammock routine again.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's a goal for that. All right. So we've gone to the last goal. Yeah.
Personal growth.
Oh my goodness, we said it at the same time. Ha 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 ha.
Jinx.
Yeah.
So what did you goal yourself for personal growth last year?
I feel like what I originally had set it to be was to try something new, at least like once a day or something.
Yeah.
That's what I originally
and then you switched it to like once a month, I think.
Once a month. And then that didn't really pan out because, as you've mentioned a lot in this podcast, it's been a lot of self-journey and self-growth.
Right.
And then also, I think, as I've also mentioned earlier, a big factor I've kind of learned a lot of myself is that a lot of things that I've thought about or like done or like choices were like, I hate to like disappoint people. I hate that. It's a lot of fear-based stuff.
Right.
So I think more personal growth for me is to try not necessarily remove it, but at least acknowledge it and work around it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like, especially the last few weeks, with kind of putting that front forward, I've been able to be a lot more balanced in my emotions, been able to kind of tackle on a little bit more. And I feel...
Except for here where we make you super vulnerable.
Yeah, obviously right now, because there's other stresses that have happened outside that we've talked about.
We put you in front of the mic and your armor comes off. That's what happens.
Exactly. I'm vulnerable and I'm raw for you guys. You're welcome. Anyways, so I think I'm just more acknowledging that, it's like you're scared of some things and it's okay, and then just work around it. And I think with that, it will help a lot with me not being as anxious or having as many panic attacks and maybe not crying as much. Like, I haven't really cried a whole lot except for today, because you just bring that out in me, Amy. You just do.
I don't know. I guess I'm really mean.
No, it's just that, as you mentioned, my shield comes down. So I'm a little bit more raw and vulnerable. So I think for 2020, it's more acknowledging all the feelings I have, both good and bad, and be able to work around through it. And also just to know that not everything's the end of the world, and that when you're... How can I be serious about this when you're taking selfies with the podcast pup?
What?
Oh my gosh.
I can't help it.
Yeah. Well,
Podcast pup.
Podcast pup. Yes, exactly. I coined that. Hashtag podcast pup. I coined that. I claim that as mine. You're welcome. But yeah, so just acknowledge all the feelings that I have, and that not to like be like, oh my God, blah, like it's the end of the world, as I normally have in the past, and kind of just let it
My mom
ride
says, don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff.
Oh yeah, it always is. Especially with what's happening right now. It's all small stuff.
Right? It's stressful in the moment, but then it's like that pause and thinking of the bigger world, and it's like, this shit don't matter.
Yeah.
None of this matters.
Yeah.
None of this fucking matters.
Exactly. And also by acknowledging and slightly removing fear, I feel that I have been a little bit more confident in terms of, reaching out to people, especially business wise, and also, let's write this, and like, don't be afraid. Like, if you don't think you're going to do enough today, just do something and push through. Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's like when you acknowledge the fear, or like when you forgive yourself, both of those things can actually be really empowering.
Yeah.
Just being able to be like, I'm afraid of this can make it easier to deal with.
Yeah. I feel like that's something
you don't have to put up a brave face for yourself. Mm-hmm. We may put it out there for the world, but you don't have to put up that mask when you're talking to yourself.
Yeah. I feel like that's something that I've been acknowledging recently, and by knowing that I'm scared, but that everybody is.
It's okay to be scared.
It's okay. And I do feel a little more confident, and that I can do a little bit more than I anticipate it. And then when I do, it's like, oh, this isn't that bad, or, oh, I could easily get this done. I don't know why I overthought that. But yeah, whew. Okay, well, now, Amy, it's your turn to be vulnerable. What about your personal growth?
I don't know how vulnerable I'll be during this.
Amy.
My personal growth goals were a mixed bag. Mm-hmm. I wanted to have more me time and get more into some of my hobbies that I hadn't done in a while. The next time we met up, I talked about, really focusing on piano and guitar. So I did succeed in the me time category. Mm-hmm. I did succeed in the piano category.
Yeah.
Guitar, so-so. Yeah, the guitar I need to be more consistent with.
Yes.
So I wanted to work more on like completing projects I have that are sitting out there. I finished Playground Politics.
Yep.
I still owe everybody a link to it. Mm-hmm. That's unpaid.
Yes.
I didn't touch Numb. And I only reviewed the footage like once for Dance on Fire. I didn't start re-editing it. So this year, my goal is to complete unfinished projects. Mm-hmm. So 1 project a month starting in February. Mm-hmm. I'm going to do 1 project a month.
That's good.
And then my goal is to do an hour of guitar a week.
Yeah.
So those are the 2 goals. And I think they're manageable.
Yeah.
But again, I have to hold myself accountable.
Yeah, no, I say they are. And definitely hold yourself accountable. I mean, with removing the fear, I think that ties into as well. There are other projects and other basically scripts that I've written, but I haven't written the drafts to it, like the new drafts. And I have to hold myself accountable for that. So I think by removing that fear of like, oh, I'm not going to get enough done at this time, like I should have put more time in, it will remove that fear. It will just allow me to just finish the damn project. So I have a calendar where I have all my side hustles, or my hustles for my video editing on the side, and then below it I have the list of titles of projects to work on for myself. And I have multiple because I find as a writer, I don't know if anybody else experiences this, but after working on one project for a while, I get bored or I lose interest. So by having multiple, then
you
I
can
can
step away from one.
Step away and go to the other one. Exactly. So
Right.
I have a couple that I'm juggling with, including a special project that we will be working on in the next few months. But we can't tell too much about it. Sorry, we have to keep it secret for now, because obviously there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. But we're excited. I don't know if you're excited, Amy. I
am excited because this will be the first time in 7 years that I have gotten into the director's chair.
That is okay. We will admit that secret. Amy's going to be directing this piece.
Yeah. So I mean, I've directed scenes here and there when I've needed to step in.
Yeah.
But directing is not a long-term goal for me, so it's not something I pursue.
Yeah. And then,
but this is going to be a project that I step into the director's seat for.
And I'll be taking a step back in the directing seat because I'm going to be writing and acting in it. And no, it's not to be, oh my gosh, I want to be in TMZ. I want to be famous like Kim Kardashian. No.
It's just a very personal project.
Yes. A lot of things that I've been dealing with have been very fear-based and being very scared. And this character I wrote is very, very, very scared. So I'm hoping to be able to experience her in a sense.
It'll be cathartic.
Yes, and I'll be able to progress even more forward than I feel like I already have. I feel like I'm definitely a lot farther than where I was when I first wrote this, because I still was in her mindset. So it's going to be interesting to try to get back into it. So I'm really hoping this time around we will have a good cast and crew that will be respectful for everybody and
right.
Themes about it.
I don't think it's going to be a problem.
I don't think so either, especially with the people that I already have in mind.
Right.
So, yeah. I think this will be a very bonding experience.
Well, I have a lot of hope for 2020.
Same here.
I think it's going to be a great year for us and a great year for the podcast.
Yes, no, definitely. I'm more pumped and more excited than I have been in the last couple months, I'll admit. The last couple months I've been a little like, and just not in the right mindset, but now I am.
Right?
Yes.
New year, new growth, and time to talk about last year's growth. We talked about where we ended on each of our goals, but what are the 3 accomplishments or growth moments or things from last year that were either you're most proud of or that were most impactful for you?
Ooh. First one that comes to mind would be the high hammock routine I did for Ariel, because that one I trained so much for it, and I am definitely nowhere near as some of the instructors or experts in that area, but I was able to do it, and it was very cathartic, and it was a very fun experience. And then I think number 2, I think it is a battle between making video editing sort of more of a consistent paying gig for me, or editing a short film that was outside of a genre that I normally don't do, which was comedy. It was a comedy film, but it got a lot of praise and people liked it, and I have built some connections.
You spread your wings.
I did spread my wings on a lot of stuff, actually. So it's a mixture between making editing more of my main income and branching out into different variety formats to add to my portfolio. And call me cheesy, but the experience that happened in Christmas, I think, was definitely something that impacted me a lot, because it really changed my outlook and, spending time with those that we have with us before they're gone. And also that was really the point when I realized a lot of things that I would experience and feel was very fear-based. And that's where I got all my anxieties, and that's maybe why I would cry a lot. So it was kind of an
eye-opening event.
Exactly.
Had you lost anybody else in your adult life? Because I find for a lot of people that first major loss in their adult life, it can be kind of hit you over the head, because a lot of times our first experiences with loss are usually when we're young, and it's like an older family member that we have some fond memories with, but we didn't know that well, or we're just not really that aware. And sometimes those first losses as an adult kind of kick us in the teeth.
Technically, no. But the thing is that I did not. I have lost other people earlier, like a few years earlier, but I wasn't as close to them as I was with this person. But also the other thing is that this person was very close to me in my childhood. And then as I got older, I didn't see them around as much. And so...
Right. So then you have that feeling of regret of not spending more time with them.
Yeah. But even as a child, there were a couple people that I lost that really did impact me or impacted me much later in life. Like my grandfather, I lost when I was 10, but at that time frame, I wasn't able to go to his funeral. So I regret not being able to go. And then, unfortunately, this is very cheesy as well, but my first dog, Calvin, he died when he was only 6 or 7 because
first pet losses are traumatic.
Yeah, it was very traumatic for me. Yeah, but I mean, I didn't mean to go into this whole death spiel of like everybody that I've lost and yada yada yada. But the most recent one, I think it's one that it definitely impacted me a lot and the rest of the family. And especially at the time frame of when it was, because it was literally right at the holidays. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, you absolutely did. You did.
But yeah, I'd say those 3, like, would be, I guess, the most impactful or the most growth-worthy. But I'm looking forward to more happy times.
Yes.
What about you?
So for 2019, my first thing is the accomplishment of leaving my main side hustles.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
And kind of a part B to that would be the fact that I got QuickBooks Online Pro certified. Mm-hmm. And I want to continue along that. I've talked about getting more bookkeeping clients, and I want to get advanced certified. Mm-hmm. My second thing from last year is I definitely was way more successful at achieving work-life balance, at shutting off when I'm at home and not carrying the stress with me and enjoying the time I spend with others, enjoying the time that I spend with myself. Mm-hmm. I made huge strides in work-life balance, which I think is then going to help me in this new goal I have this year of obtaining that kind of work-life balance with my partner. And then my number 3 accomplishment or impactful thing is this podcast. I am so proud of our first year of this podcast. This has been such a huge, huge positive in my life. Podcast recording day, I love what I do on set, but podcast recording day is always my favorite day. This makes me so happy. And I'm so proud of where we've gotten it to, and I can't wait to see where we take it to. And now I've made her cry.
Again, not what I was expecting. Oh, God, this is just... well, I mean, I think to set up the 2020 just right. Just get all the tears out. And like
right? Let's start fresh. If you have 2019 moments that you want to share with us, either from your life or what you've heard on the podcast, please tell us on social media at LifeGoals Pod, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or email us at lifegoalspod@gmail.com.
Yes, we are all there for each other, and we are all interested in everybody's story.
We are in this life goals journey together.
Yes, we are.
Now, we decided we weren't going to do a hashtag hunt this week.
No.
And there's obviously no challenge because we've just set up all of our big year challenges.
Exactly.
But I couldn't help but look for some hashtags. I only wrote down a few.
Okay.
First of all, gonna say this note. When I put in 2020 hopes, oh my God, so much of what I got was basic bitches.
Okay, I thought you were going to say something completely different, so I'm good.
I hope everybody has peace and love and growth and world peace. Okay, Miss America, yes. Could you be more fucking basic? So I picked one that was slightly less basic.
Okay.
And I picked 2 that I thought were funny.
All right, hit me.
So let's go with the funny ones first.
I'm been crying.
So more into cashmere scarves. I want to be bougie. Hashtag 2020 hopes.
What?
You go. Get on with your bougie self. Get more cashmere scarves.
Oh my gosh, the voice. I can't handle it right now, Amy.
For 2020, I hope I fucking die. Hashtag speak it into existence. Hashtag 2020 hopes. And then their friend commented, I hope you shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I get that that's funny to me. It's not funny to Chelsea. But it's funny to me.
I know, I get it that's our sarcasm. Again, one of the things I have to work. I know sarcasm is not my strongest suit, and I can understand it when people like say it, but of course there's the part of the back of my mind it's just like, what if they're not kidding, that kind of thing. I know that person's kidding, but
they're
it's just,
obviously kidding.
I just don't use that phrase or terminology a lot.
And I just love how their friend responded.
I do love how the friend responded. It's like, I hope you shut the fuck up.
So here is our least basic, positive 2020 hopes. For 2020, I wish everyone falls in love with themselves, and with that self-love, achieve great heights in life by becoming more wiser, better, calmer, smarter, stronger, and ultimately happier. Happy New Year.
I like that.
And of course you do.
Sorry that I'm a basic bitch. Can I have moments when I can't be that?
Welcome to 2020, bitches!
Yay! Woohoo! Party! Oh,
well, until next time.
Yes.
I'm Amy Covell.
And I'm Chelsea Wingo.
And you've been listening to Hashtag LifeGoals.
Thanks for listening to this crazy episode, guys. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.